everybody, and welcome to Weight Loss Wednesday, episode 126. I'm Chef AJ, the author of The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss and the creator of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. And this is where I show you recipes for healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. And today I'm making one of my very favorite salad dressing recipes, which is not in the book, and it's called Sweet and Smoky dressing. It's really easy to make. I always try to use 7 ingredients or less. This actually has 6, unless you count water, with things that are easy to find, easy to access, and that are healthy and delicious. So I'm using my blender today. A lot of times you guys ask, what do I like better, the Vitamix or the Blendtec? I love them both. What I love about the Blendtec is the shape. It's a little bit easier sometimes to get, like when I'm doing like creams out of it, not real cream, but like if I'm making a whipped cream like out of pears, for example. What I love about the Vitamix is the tamper, but they're both great. Always get the best that you can afford. So I have a cup of water, and in this cup of water, there are some dates soaking. I have 4 ounces of pitted dates. I was a restaurant chef for many years, and we did everything by weight. And I just find, having taught the blind at the Braille Institute for years, that weight is always consistent. And that's why in my book, I use weight. I don't use cups, and I don't use number of dates. You can get a food scale for less than $10 at Bed Bath & Beyond, and that's why my recipes come out consistently, and I think consistently delicious, because I'm using 4 ounces of dates. I can't tell you how many dates that is, because a Deglet Noor date could weigh 1/4 ounce or 1/2 ounce. I've had medjool dates weigh anywhere from 1/2 ounce to 1.5 ounces. So 4 ounces of dates, I soak them in the water so that they would be soft. If you have a high-powered blender, you may not need to soak, but why not? So I'm going to put that in the blender. And to that, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of lime juice. Now I'm using some bottled organic lime juice because I didn't have any fresh limes, and that's fine. But if you are using fresh limes, why not zest it? Because especially if they're organic, it'll just give the recipe even more flavor. Especially since I don't use any salt. When you use sour, you can often fool your taste buds so that you think you had something salty when you didn't. Now I'm going to add 1/4 cup, which is 4 tablespoons of mustard. I use the salt-free mustard from Westbrae. This is the kind they use at the True North Health Center, where I've been privileged to be a guest chef and presenter the last 10 years. It's the only mustard I know of without salt. It's not spicy, because I don't want a spicy kind of Grey Poupon Dijon in this recipe anyway. And you can get it at pretty much all the natural food stores like Sprouts, Whole Foods. You can get it on Amazon, Vitacost, Thrive Markets. So this is really good. If you have Amazon Prime, I get it delivered the same day. I buy it by the case. I use so much of it. My seasonings are 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Smoked paprika is completely different than sweet paprika or Hungarian paprika. It has just a much more depth of flavor, which is important if you're doing salt-free recipes. It just tastes better. Again, always get the best you can afford. Sometimes I'll buy some really cool brands, online, but smoked paprika, not regular. 2 teaspoons and 1/4 teaspoon of chipotle powder. Chipotle are just smoked jalapenos, and they're very flavorful without being super hot. So I'm going to put the spices in there. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of chia seeds, except they're going everywhere, into the blender. This just helps thicken the dressing so that it sticks a little bit better to your greens or your lettuces. So it's going to be a little bit of a noise here while I blend. Wasn't completely blended. There we go. So what am I going to put this on? Well, I'm going to put it on one of my favorite salads. And this salad is based on a recipe from the Forks Over Knives annual meal plan. I did a really nice video with about 7 of their recipes. I didn't give the measurements because they're not my recipes to give. This isn't their exact recipe, but it's based on it. They had a wonderful, and they still do, sweet potato wild rice salad, which I've tweaked to my own liking. But it still starts out with wild rice, and I am using a 1-pound bag of wild rice, which I cooked in my Instant Pot, which is very easy. The recipe's in my book, but I'll just tell you what I do is I just take the 1-pound bag, 4 cups of water, and I push the multi-grain button. That's how easy it is. I've never cooked grains on the stove. You could use a rice cooker too if you like, but the Instant Pot makes perfect grains every time. I don't know exactly every grain memorized. I know this one memorized, but that's why you get a book or the book that comes with it. So I've chilled my wild rice that was made from 1 pound of wild rice. And to that, I'm going to add 4 cups of sweet potatoes, which I've cooked, peeled, and chilled. Now, the way this is different than the forks over knives recipe, and I'll tell you, it's kind of a funny story, is that I made this at my open house for when I moved, and it called for cubes or little chunks of sweet potatoes. And what was happening is people were picking out the sweet potatoes and they were just leaving everything else. And also I find that whether I roast my sweet potatoes or cook them in the microwave, they get a little bit stringy and mushy. They're hard for me to get those little discernible cubes. And so I said, you know what? I'm not gonna do that again because I don't want people picking out all the sweet potatoes. So what I started to do was just mush them and mash it in to the rice. So I'm using food service gloves. And this just made it so nice because then you get the sweet potato in every bite rather than somebody picking out all the sweet potatoes. Don't you hate when people do that? So I'm just gonna mush this in really, really well. And these are the orange ones. They're often called garnet yams or red yams. And again, I like to start with everything being chilled. I mean, you could start it with it, I guess, hot or warm or room temperature, but you want to serve this salad chilled, so that's why I like to pre-chill all the ingredients that are going in it. And also by doing it this way, it just makes it look really pretty. This could be a great fall salad, not that it needs to be, just based on the colors. So I really want to get this mixture incorporated. It's just a little easier sometimes to use food service gloves. I always make sure that my food service gloves are latex free, just in case somebody were to have a latex allergy. And I reuse them. I will wash these and use them again. So, I mean, not forever, because at some point they probably will tear. Boy, this is cold when you chill it. Okay, so that's pretty good. So I'm gonna take my gloves off now and add the remainder of the ingredients, which are scallions. In the forks over knives recipe, they used red onions. I have a hard time cutting onion. It really makes me cry, but scallions don't do it. It's about 6 scallions, which is about 1.5 cups. And also I just love the green color in here. And then 2 very large apples. And I use the Envy apple, and I cut them in one of those machines called the Vidalia Chop Wizard, so everything would be even. I found the 2 biggest ones that I could find. The Envy is my favorite apple because it's the sweetest. And then I am going to pour my sweet and smoky dressing all over this salad. And I'll tell you, this is one of those recipes that everybody that eats it has asked for the recipe. So I figured it'd be a lot easier to just make a video and then say, watch episode 126 of Weight Loss Wednesday. So I'm gonna mix it all together till it's fully incorporated. And again, this is my own recipe creation for the dressing. The salad part is based on the sweet potato and wild rice salad for the Forks Over Knives annual meal plan, which is fabulous, by the way. They have so many good recipes, and I would encourage you to watch the video that I did where I showed you so many of them. So there we go. It's a beautiful looking salad. I like to transfer it, if I'm serving it, to a prettier bowl. I need the larger bowl for mixing, of course, but I like to put it in a very pretty bowl. You know, they say we eat with our eyes, not literally, but especially when you're doing healthy plant food, especially the way I cook without SOFAs, S-O-F-A-S, no sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, salt. I wanna make sure that my food is pretty. So I'll put it in a dish. And then what I like to do, especially if I'm serving it as a first course, is I like to serve everything on a bed of organic greens. And we'll just take a couple of scoops, and you've got the hearty, delicious, satisfying, healthy starch from both the wild rice and the sweet potatoes. And that's what it looks like. And I know you're gonna enjoy this recipe. Now, speaking of things that look pretty, I want to show you some work by 2 of my favorite artists. This is a pencil drawing, and you know, if you know me, that I love my dog Bailey more than anything, and this is exactly what she looks like. This is from Chelly McGrillis, and I'm going to put links in the show notes to show you how you can get in touch with her. Very, very affordable, I mean, it looks exactly like your dog. Sometimes she has contests on Facebook where you can actually get a free drawing. So she's incredible. She can also draw people. And then a new artist who is the son-in-law of someone, oops, my phone is getting stuck in Ultimate Weight Loss. This is what I got Charles for Father's Day. I know it's not Father's Day yet, but when it came in the mail, I had to give it to him. This again is Bailey, and this is Tyler Hammons, and he's fantastic. And both of them just worked online from, I texted a photo. So art's important to me, pets are important to me, and healthy, delicious food is important to me, and I hope it's important to you. And thanks again for watching another episode of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I make healthy taste delicious so that you can have both the health and the body you so richly deserve. Take care.